Welcome back to Eye on South Asia. Let's move on to our next story.
Yeah, in the neighborhood once again to India, we're talking about the Maldivian situation, which we have been reporting to our viewers. Has been very hot, boiling up, because the Vice President Mohammad Wahid Hussein Manik took over the presidency of Maldives from the democratically elected president Mohammad Nasheed, and it was actually the first democratically elected government. And look, the President Nasheed says that he was ousted by police and some selected security people.
Right.
And
he says that there was
sort of a coup.
possibly a coup against
There
him.
was, yeah, he's very clear. Why would he want to give up otherwise? And what is being reported by the opponent is that he quit. So it's a very strange deadlock now. Like we have the Indian, we have the United Nations, we have American observers over there. It's a very hard story. If you see, it's very, very hard. But now the president ousted president Mohammad Nasheed, they have the same first name. So I'm kind of connecting with Mohammad Nasheed. He has asked for new elections and he wants them in 2 months.
Yes.
But when you look at the ground situation, it's not possible. And what Mohammad Wahid Hussein Manik has said, the man in charge now, that he is not against the elections, but it has to be seen, the proper conditions have to be created when the new elections can be announced.
Right.
But he has not made any announcement when that could be.
Yes. He says that they're going to get poll results and that sort of thing to get a fair and proper election. And as it stands right now, the regular election would be scheduled for late 2013.
And he is willing to bring it up, but
Yes.
obviously it cannot be as early as 2 months as demanded by the ousted President Wahid.
Exactly.
Moving on to, again, very similar area of India, very close by, Goa, which is going for the elections. And we had state elections in India in different states, and one of them is Goa. But the angle from the diaspora point of view is the British member of parliament who is of Indian origin, Keith Was. He has been there for quite some time, went to Goa and campaigned for one of his personal friends. Which, and obviously that is not normally acceptable to the opposition, because he's a foreign resident, he's a Britisher, and he says, look, I have a friend there called Velanka Alamo, and he's from the South Goa district, and I am free to canvass and speak for my friend.
Yes.
While the officials, the electoral officials locally were not very clear if it is right or wrong, so they have asked for an expert opinion from the Election Commission and asked the British High Commission to intervene if it's required. And Keith was very clear, British High Commission has no control over him. He is a member of parliament and he's here on a personal trip, so
He said it's a personal issue. I know this person who wants to campaign for him. So,
moving to the hot seat again, is the Pakistan ambassador, the new ambassador, Shari Rahman. We told our viewers, we presented to them that last week she took charge. She's taken the position now, and Shari is a very capable person. She's from PPP, and she has been a former information minister. She knows how to interact, but this is a very hot seat, especially at a time when, as in her own words, she sees that United States and Pakistan relationship is in the rocks and needs to be righted.
yeah, she was speaking at the U.S. Institute of Peace, and she was just talking about this whole relationship, bringing up the attack on the Pakistani soldiers by U.S. NATO forces. And saying, she was kind of bringing it into an optimistic light, I guess you could say. She was saying it can be seen as a cutoff date for a broader bilateral engagement and a catalyst to force the two countries to come together and, really just force a
She literally used the
better
word called that her country is committed to a peaceful offensive. So, her points are quite, she's come back with an agenda. She knows she has to rectify this relationship, will probably take a little longer. But she says, look, like you mentioned about that attack on the EU Pakistani soldiers, and 24 of them died. because of an attack from US and NATO forces, and the apology took quite long, and I don't know if there is a clear apology on that basis, and US has pulled out. So the whole idea is to let's set this relationship in the right trajectory and set up proper protocols, proper codification, so that such mistakes don't happen. And she's also mentioning she is not in her country. When she speaks for, she says she means her country, is not in favor of an unstable Afghanistan, because it creates trouble for Pakistan.
Yes.
So knowing more so now that US and NATO forces are supposed to pull out of Afghanistan, then it can create further instability in that region. And as it is, there are 3 million Afghan refugees in Pakistan. And no matter how you see, they are out for trouble. So they want a stable, what she calls Afghan-led and Afghanistan-owned peace process. And they have been lobbying on their own, creating another kind of an alternate bloc, while she says we are reaching out strategically with other countries, which includes the Central Asian countries, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, China, Russia, Korea.
But it's important to note that while many officials in the US were trying to dismiss the Pakistan-US relationship and saying, listen, this is just going downhill, she wants to say that if you look at it in terms of a marriage, they're not getting divorced.
No, that is, of course, she mentioned something like that. Let's look at the Pakistan and US relationship like a marriage. There is dating, and there is engagement, and there is a marriage after that. There is places where you meet and you disagree, but hopefully let's not discuss about the last term in the marriage life. If you face it as the divorce. So it's not for divorce. Let's set up the right rules of engagement now.
Yes.
Moving on to Pakistan, there is another third angle that has taken now shape. This is first time in the history of Pakistan you observe. Normally Pakistan has had 2 sets of powers. One is the civilian power, one is the military power. And the third power in this case seems to be becoming the court, Supreme Court. Now Supreme Court had issued a notice to the Prime Minister Gilani, Yusuf Raza Gilani, that he should be issuing the notice against the current president, who is constantly embroiled in controversies, and this one is about the illegal cash and the wealth that is amassed through corruption. And Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani did not accept it. So court has declared it's a contempt of court. And this could mean Prime Minister has to step down, lose his position as a Prime Minister, and also probably go to jail for 6 months. Which is not the best situation that you want to be, but then it's very, very clear that Justice Nasir Ulk has said very clearly that he has willfully disobeyed the direction of this court, which is non-negotiable discussion. So he has probably a serious situation coming up, and Prime Minister has also mentioned that he may be willing to step down if it's required. So the situation of very uneasiness, which was actually caused by, if the then President Pervez Musharraf in 2007 had given amnesty to thousands and thousands of old corruption cases and thrown them out. Under that, even the current President Zardari got saved, and reportedly he has stashed tons and tons of money in Swiss banks, which is true for both countries if you look around. Many countries and many individuals.
That is true.
And he got lucky, but the court has ruled that the cases should be reopened, which is what Prime Minister Zardari has not taken forward so far. So it is a situation. On the friendly note or semi-friendly note between the Indian and Pakistani side, we talked about it a few weeks ago that Pakistan had declared India and accorded the status of MFN, most favored nations, which was a huge thing, from a otherwise stalemate of relationship here, because somebody has rightly said that you cannot bring trade after bringing peace.
Yes.
Actually, you can bring peace after starting trade. Because it's true, when you are engaged, you have a good relationship, and you work on the areas where you are together,
Right.
and you're friendly with each other, that starts building momentum.
A
And at some
trust.
point, hopefully, like cricket, politics, then this is a business trade politics. This kind of relationship can take the two countries closer.
Right.
But somehow Pakistan has not yet declared this into action and practice. And they are saying, look, we have a long list of items that are not yet proven and we need to verify them, bum, bum, bum.
They have a negative list, which India wants to shortlist as much as possible and increase their positive list that can be
used for the business.
Imported. And Pakistan has agreed in principle, but India feels that they're not fast enough in terms of acting on this, and they really want this to happen quickly.
Bhavna, the only thing that I can recollect over the years since I've been observing the Indo-Pak relationship from the administrative point of view, that is always in principle relationship, and you sign a piece of paper, and we had the Prime Minister of India in Pakistan at one time. At the same time, the military was building on the Kargil side to attack India. So you can't be farther than that. We have faced that with China in 1960s when the Prime Minister was talking about Indo-China bye-bye, and they were ready to attack us. So it's very difficult to say what is going on in their mind and who is controlling what's happening where. But by the same token, they have also blamed that India has certain things which are not very, very clear, and they're talking about making the visa issuance to Pakistani business people and other people a little more relaxed. So it's a constant engagement. But the good thing is India's Commerce Minister Anand Sharma was with his delegation in Pakistan, which is a good step forward.
Sure, absolutely.
Moving to international business relationships, again, we presented to our viewers what happened, the 2G license cancellation, the 119 licenses that were cancelled for the 2G spectrum because of supposed to be very wrongdoings by the minister at that time, Ashok Raja, who is in jail, actually now in bail. His trial starts soon. In fact, the Home Minister, who was then the Finance Minister, got embroiled in it, but somehow he was able to save himself here. Now, here is the Norwegian telecom giant, Telenor, who had partnered with one of the India's corporate conglomerate giant, Unitech, which was primarily in the real estate business. So they had created a joint venture. A lot of international companies created a joint venture in India to bid for the licenses and win them over. Here was a venture between Telenor from Norway and then Unitech from India. It was called Uninor.
Okay, yeah.
And this was getting into a planned $1.7 billion rights issue for the joint venture. And after the cancellation, somehow the Telenor is not interested to carry forward this relationship because the bids are being called again, the whole thing will be bid again, and whoever will be getting it move forward. They don't want to continue with the Unitech as their partner, which Unitech takes an exception because they're going to sue this company.
Well, Telenor says that they're going to be seeking indemnity and compensation from Unitech, and Unitech is doing a counter lawsuit against Telenor.
Let me tell you, Unitech is a big giant, but Telenor has positioned very smartly. It's been going on in their corporate boardrooms very carefully because what they have done is they have gone ahead and taken the control through a partial control of telecom firm which is called VimpelCom, VIPN, which is from Russia. And through that, they have taken the 234 million shares and taken a voting share of 36.36% while they had only 25%. So they're kind of gearing up and preparing.
They're partnering up with other...
No, this was the third partner in that.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make sure that they're positioned well to fight this case very strongly against Unitech.
Right. Well, we'll see how that goes. We're going to take another short break. We'll be right back on Eye on South Asia.